Keeping you informed. This is In.form on WBDC and 18 WJTS.
Welcome back to another edition of In.form here on 101 Country WBDC and 18 WJTS. I'm Kaitlyn Neukam, and we're going to talk about something a little bit different in the studio today. And it's, I'm just going to say CIT training. I have no idea what it is. We're going to learn more about it today with Alison and Emily. So welcome, ladies. It is a pleasure to have you. And before we get kind of started into the deep dive of what you guys have been working on here lately, go ahead and introduce yourselves, maybe your titles, and give us a little bit of background from where you guys are coming from today.
Okay. My name is Alison Neal, and I am a program facilitator at Dubois County Community Corrections. I facilitate programming for those in work release and home detention, probation, drug court, and all of that. So.
Yes, and Deputy Haas, we have a uniformed officer in the studio with us today as well.
Good morning. I'm Deputy Emily Haas. I am a mental health deputy with the Dubois County Sheriff's Department. So what I do is I work the road, so I take all calls, but I specifically try to get to all of the mental health calls, any calls that have a victim, so that I can have some additional assistance in that regard.
Right, and having more mental health specialists in the area has been a recent trend, not, trendy trend, but it has been an increasing trend here in the local community because it is a necessary need that needs to be filled. We've seen this a lot here at the station. We talk to a lot of different specialists in the area, and having those personnel in first responder roles, I think, is super important, and we thank you for the work that you do and continue to provide. And Alison, as well, you were telling us that the CIT training, which I'll ask you to dive into that a bit more, but this has been in the works for a while now for the Dubois County Community Corrections, as well as the Dubois County Sheriff's Office. So give us a little bit of history and maybe get into a little bit about what it is.
So Crisis Intervention Team Training, CIT, it's something that has been around for many, many years. There's other agencies within Indiana that use the CIT, or now the CIRT training curriculum for their on-the-road deputies. And yes, Kaitlyn, like you said, this has been a long time coming. I became a CIT coordinator in December of 23. But it's been talked about throughout the county for many years before that, and it just hadn't come to fruition for whatever reason. Those reasons don't matter. Now we are, for the last couple years now, we have gotten together with stakeholders within the county, veteran groups, those with suicide groups, the hospital, Life Springs, anybody with lived experience, probation office, just everybody and anybody. I know I've forgotten some, and so I'm sorry about that, but we've gotten together to see what our county is needing, where are we lacking the resources, so that when we do get called to people who are in crisis of any capacity, how can we divert them away from the jail and give them what they truly need? Someone in a mental health crisis sometimes may need jail, but a lot of times they just need resources, or may need just rehabilitation or something like that. So giving them the resources that they need to get what they need.
Right, and so you've really been along for the journey. You said 2023 and further and whatnot. And although Emily is not super new to the deputy's office or anything like that, you are still kind of developing and relatively new to CIT and whatnot. So how has that kind of been approaching it from, Alison's experience kind of forward as you kind of dive into it yourself?
Sure. So prior to my position with the Sheriff's Department, I did work in probation. So I have been attending the CIT meetings, first as a probation representative and then moving into my role now. I think a big reason why we've worked to create the position that I'm in is because we saw so many needs for in the field, immediate crisis intervention, and maybe having someone with a little bit more training in mental health, I think is where that started from for me, was what role fits best that I can help the most amount of people possible. So starting with CIT as a probation representative, I kind of know a little bit of the background, but here within, I'd say the last year, we've really ramped up what we're doing. We're meeting much more frequently. We have coordinators trained. I was able to go through that training a few months ago, along with the CIT Train the Trainer program, where they really gave me a lot of information on the new curriculum that they have and how we can better give that information to officers so that officers can get excited about the information and want to fill the role as a CIT officer.
Right. And again, a fantastic resource and a fantastic way to start, not necessarily spreading the knowledge in a bad way. It's just, again, providing more opportunities so that there's multiple coordinators and people who are able to help in situations that need CIT. So with that, I'll open it up to either of you ladies. Let's go ahead and get into the initiative that you guys are kind of working on now that has been in the works for a few years now. You guys are actually going to be offering crisis intervention team training here soon in 2026. So what do we need to know about that? What's the target demographic? What's all the details we need to know?
Okay, well, the major thing is this is not available to anybody. This is available to the law enforcement officers. We're really targeting Dubois County to get our Dubois County officers trained in this so that they can better handle situations of all kinds. So these are for law enforcement officers. However, if you have any lived experience, if you know somebody that you think would be of benefit to help teach and facilitate some of these trainings that we're going to do within that 40-hour training for our law enforcement officers, you're welcome to reach out to us, and we'll have the information of how to reach us later on. Emily, do you want to go ahead and talk about just some of the modules that we'll be talking about with
Sure.
the CRIT training?
So we have the first 3 days of the training. It is a 5-day, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 training that we're going to be having in February of next year. So it'll be February 23rd through the 27th. So the first day, it's really going to hit what is the crisis response and intervention training, what all does that entail. We're going to hit perceptions and attitudes of mental health, language that officers are using. We're going to talk about all of the different mental health conditions, substance use disorders, people with disabilities. All of those things are being taught throughout the first 3 days, along with trauma and PTSD. We're going to have people with lived experience come and talk with officers. We're hopefully going to have some site visits where officers can go to the different locations where we maybe are bringing people to a crisis stabilization unit. Officers maybe want to see what that looks like and how that process looks. So I'm really excited to have 1 week where officers can sit and learn all the information, but then also see how it can maybe be used in practice, get all the resources from all of the different agencies that we're able to utilize here that some don't know about. And then at the end, the last 2 days, which I know some people probably aren't going to enjoy too much, there is a lot of role playing and scenario-based training. So I know that might be a little uncomfortable, but I think we all grow when we're uncomfortable and we learn things. And to be in a situation where we have mental health and law enforcement trainers working together to be able to offer feedback and suggestions, I think will be really beneficial for people.
Right, and that sounds fantastic. Again, maybe the officers aren't natural-born actors, but again, I think putting them in that situation, that gives you a completely different perspective if you are forced to, kind of be through it. And Emily, the way you're describing the modules, it sounds like it's going to be very intensive. Again, that's 40 hours worth of training, but at the end result, we're going to see even better responses for our community, right?
Right, that's the goal.
Fantastic. Allison, is there anything you wanted to add further before I, jumped you earlier?
No, that's fine. There's been a lot of people that have helped to get this on the road. And I just want to shout out to our other coordinators. It's not just me and Emily doing this, but we currently hold weekly meetings so that we can get this up and going and making sure that we have all the pieces to the puzzle. So me and Emily, our coordinator, Becky Michael with Life Springs, Heather Twiskey with Deaconess Memorial, and then Ann Serwinski with NAMI International. She's with our Dubois County chapter. So without them, without the stakeholders before now, before the coordinators, like we wouldn't be where we are today. So shout out to everybody and thank you.
That is fantastic. And again, it's not that we don't appreciate that this has been culminated, but again, there wouldn't be a need for this coordination and these trainings if it wasn't prevalent here in our area. So starting this and really kicking it off, again, a fantastic initiative that me personally, I hope it really flourishes, because I think something which maybe you guys can help me kind of understand a bit more is that, when you place that 911 call or when you seek first responder assistance, there are so many different levels and facets to where the response comes from, who's responding, and what level of expertise they bring to the table, whether you're in crisis or, again, maybe it's a medical emergency. Again, we've just briefly touched the surface of these things with the various suicide prevention groups we've had in with previous interviews, but maybe as you guys see as first responders and those who start and go through the call, what kind of steps may the typical community member here not understand kind of comes through this crisis response kind of system? I don't know how best to describe it, but what are the things that we don't see as a normal citizen here?
So if someone in crisis were to call 911, dispatch is going to answer the call, and they're going to ask where they are, some information about them, and then they're going to ask what's going on. So as much information as that person can share with 911, it's always going to be better. The more information that dispatch can give to officers going to the scene, that's better for us because we know what to expect when we get there. But those individuals who are in crisis, when we get there, depending on what's going on, there might be a little bit of a different response. If there's weapons involved, it might look a little different than if it's someone who's sitting on the front porch just waiting for us to get there. It might look a little different. When I arrive on scene, I'm going to go to the person who's in crisis. I'm going to talk with them. I'm going to ask information, probably the same information that they already gave to dispatch. So that can be frustrating, but it's because I want to hear it come from the individual personally instead of just hearing what dispatch has told me. From there, if it is someone who's actively suicidal or homicidal, we're going to go to the hospital. We have to take someone who is making suicidal or homicidal statements for an evaluation. If it's someone who's in some sort of other crisis and they just need someone to talk to, I have worked with the LifeSpring Mobile Crisis Team. They've been very helpful at times, where they have individuals who can come out if necessary and meet with that person. We've also been able to handle safety planning and getting people connected to resources all over the phone. So that person can stay at home, we leave. So many things could happen with a crisis call. So I can't say exactly what that's going to look like.
Right.
It's always different. But the gist would be tell 911 everything you can. When we get there, we're going to ask the same questions, and then we'll create a plan together to try to figure out how to best help that person.
Right. And with that, again, thinking of the citizens type of view, how will other community members see the effects of this training? I mean, on the surface, I assume it's okay, just put more of these people who have experience out in the field. But do you have any idea of how that's going to show up, where maybe people see it a bit more than what they expect? I know it's kind of a loaded question, but where are we going to see this?
Sure. Long-term goal is that our dispatch will also have some CIT training. They'll be able to identify, okay, this situation, maybe we should dispatch a CIT trained officer. So you're going to have officers responding who have been through all of these modules, who have been through the role plays, who maybe understand how to better ask those questions of someone in crisis, who can maybe understand where they're coming from, who have a better understanding of medications and how those impact people. So you're just going to have an officer that is maybe a little bit more equipped. all of our officers are great, but having some more training is never going to hurt.
Never gonna hurt. I couldn't agree more. Now let's again get back to the training. This is again for officers only as of right now. Again, as you continue to grow and develop the program, who knows what the future is going to bring. But this upcoming training program is happening in 2026. What do we need to know about those specific details, as well as how to contact you guys to sign up for the training?
So our training will be February 23rd to the 27th here at the SWICAC building. They've graciously allowed us to use the entire building for whatever we need it for the breakout sessions and all of that. So thank you for that. As far as reaching out to us, you can reach out to Emily with any questions, comments, support. Officers love snacks and drinks. So if you would like to donate anything, all of this, there are some funds set aside, but sometimes with grants, it's limited on what you can and can't use it for. So if you would like to support in any way, if you feel like you have lived experience and you would like to use that knowledge for the training, Emily will give you her contact information, her email, and other information to be able to hook up and sync up with us with that. So
fantastic. Emily, is there a way to contact you that we could share on air? Is that something, just reach out to the sheriff's office and look for more information?
Sure, that would be perfect. Yeah.
Good deal. So just again, maybe not call 911, but call the actual office number. Make sure to reach out to Emily, Deputy Haas, to get more information. Again, it's a fantastic opportunity. I think that I really do think, and I do hope that you guys will see a lot of engagement, and it'll continue to grow, and it'll be a multiple year event versus just this first time. So, ladies, is there anything else you want to make sure to add while you're with us today?
No, we're just excited to get it up and rolling.
Awesome. Emily, anything else?
The only other thing is officers will be able to enroll in the training by either emailing me. They shall have my email address as far as officers in our area. And then the Southern Indiana Law Enforcement Training Council, I'm going to be meeting with them to see if we can get that training on their website for officers to enroll in that way as well.
Perfect. Definitely. So send Deputy Haas an email or just look for that training. Again, things in the works, but we know it's all in good faith. And again, just very excited to see you guys kind of get this off the ground. But ladies, thank you so much for what you do here in the community. And thank you so much for visiting with us today and giving us a little bit more information on CIT training.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. This has been your In.form here on 101 Country WBDC and 18 WJTS with the Dubois County Sheriff's Department and Dubois County Community Corrections in their upcoming Crisis Intervention Team training.
This has been In.form on WBDC and 18 WJTS. Catch past episodes on our social media pages and our websites. If it matters to you, it matters to us. In.form.